Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up weekdays. Catch us live, somebody. Let's go.
Good evening, good morning, and good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Pascal Show. Hopefully you guys are all doing well out here. Yes, I know this is a very, very late show. I'm going to do a very, very quick show today because I got a very long day tomorrow, but I wanted to squeeze this in. Had to go and do some things with some family, do a little family dinner type thing. Just got home, wanted to jump on here and kind of give you guys an update on the thing that I kind of broke in the middle of the show earlier today about this incident that happened at Robb Elementary School. The numbers have, while we were doing the live, while I broke this story, so many different stories where you guys are commenting, you know, without you guys, without you guys being there and being a part of the conversation and being part of the show. You guys helped me figure out and find out more information about all this stuff. Like I said, it was an ever-developing story where there were so many different pieces of information, numbers flying back and forth, all that stuff. So I figured, you know what, I want to jump on here really quick, chop it up with you guys, and talk about this because, you know what, this is a really big story. This is a really big deal. And this really needs to stop happening. I'm going to cut the music. This really needs to stop happening. Period. A lot of children's lives were lost today. This has got to stop. I know I'm preaching to the choir right now, okay? But when I heard about this story, I couldn't stop the show. I couldn't stop what we were watching. I couldn't stop the Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing. You know what I mean? And we're going to go back to our regularly scheduled program tomorrow. But I was just like, you know what? I'm so compelled to talk about this. And I'm going to say this right now for everyone. And I know what I'm saying is I'm preaching to the converted. All right. I'm preaching to the choir, but I have to ask, when is this going to stop? Because this happens almost every month. Something happens. Almost every week, something happens. This was weighing heavy on me. I had to talk about this tonight. So ride with me tonight, okay? So if you guys don't mind, do me a favor. I'm cutting out all the music and stuff. We're just going straight into it. Do me a favor, hit that like button down below. Send the likes all the way up so we can get the word out here. Get the message out here. I'm not going to be on for a very long time because I got a very long day tomorrow doing our watch party and all that. But I had to talk about this. We need to talk about this. Okay? And do me a favor, if you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe button. All right? Be great to have you a part of the Pascal Show family. All right. Here it is. There was a mass shooting that happened today in Texas, Uvalde, Texas. We now have the name of the shooter. We are going to talk about this here very shortly. But when I broke the story this morning, I heard that there was I think I said something along the lines of 2 students were unalive, and that there were 13 students that were injured, brought into the hospital, and 1 teacher. Well, because of you guys, because of the conversation that we were having during the live watch party, we were so thrown off by this mass event, this heinous crime, that we were all looking it up, trying to find out what actually really went down, what's the total, if there are more, if there are less, so on and so forth. Some people were saying there were 14 people that was 14 children that were unalive. Some people said that there were more. Some people said that there was less. I only heard at that time that there were 2 students and 1 teacher that were unalive and 13 to 14 students that were injured. Well, there's more. And we got to talk about it. So here it is. The death toll in Texas, in the Texas elementary school shooting, rises to 19. I put 18 in the title, but then I just recently found this article, and now there's 19 students, y'all, and 2 teachers that are now no longer on this earth because of this particular individual barricaded himself inside the school and decided to do something unthinkable. So let's get into this, shall we? And this also has been confirmed by Governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, as well. The gunman, of course, now is no longer on this planet either. I don't know the details. I don't know if he was taken by police fire or if it was self-inflicted. But we're going to go through this together and figure this out together as a family. All right? So ride along with me, y'all. So here's the face of the boy who decided to run into Robb Elementary School and barricade himself inside of that school. But there's really some really interesting information. It's not interesting in a good way. It's still devastating. There's more devastating information that surrounds this story as well. That has to do with somebody that he is supposed to love and cherish as well. We're going to get into that as well. This is a terrible story, y'all. This is a terrible story, and I don't know if I don't even know if I want to say this young boy, this boy's name, this teenager's name. I don't know if I want to say his name, but I know that y'all want to know his name. So we're going to get into this story. All right, the toll from Tuesday's shooting at Texas Elementary School has risen to 19 students. Sandy Hook, I think, was about 5. No, I'm sorry. Columbine was about 15 students. I don't remember Sandy Hook, how many Sandy Hook was, but I think this is more than Sandy Hook as well. Think about that. From my understanding, this kid is 18 years old. So it's not like he matriculated at this elementary school. It's not like he just brought a weapon into the school. He ran into that school and decided to do what he did. Okay. I digress. Let's get back to the article, okay? So it's risen to 19 students and 2 teachers, all taken, all unalived by an 18-year-old gunman. The gunman who was taken was shot unalive by a heroic Border Patrol agent who ran into the school with a tactical support team and unalived him while he was barricaded inside and exchanging gunfire with other Texas law enforcement officers. The gunman, 18-year-old Salvador Ramos. Now I've heard Roma, and I've heard so many different versions. There's so many different typos of his name out here, to be honest. But Salvador Romas, wearing body armor, mind you, equipped with a handgun and possibly a rifle, also took the life of his grandmother before he went into that school and started opening fire. Now, this is according to Governor Greg Abbott. So this young man, this 18-year-old boy, decided to take his grandmother's life and then run into the nearest elementary school. Wearing body armor, mind you. So all of this was premeditated. He knew what he was about to do. At least that's what I think. I don't think anybody just walks down the street hanging out wearing body armor just for ish and giggles. You feel me? Clearly this man, this piece of work, knew what he was about to do. So he took his own grandmother's life, allegedly. They have not confirmed that entirely yet, but that's what Governor Greg Abbott has been saying in his speech, or that's what he said in his speech. Okay. The grandmother was airlifted to the hospital, and her condition is unknown. So I guess, apparently, according to this article, she is still alive. So he shot her, but she is still alive, allegedly. One of the teachers was named by her family as Eva Morales, or Mireles. Hopefully I'm saying that right. She was 44 years old. The second teacher has not been named yet. Ramos, who was born in North Dakota but lived in Uvalde, was a student of Uvalde High School, Abbott said. Ramos's young victims were aged between 7 and 11. So many young kids, y'all. So many. On Tuesday night, the father of 10-year-old Annabelle Guadalupe Rodriguez said that she was still missing. He shot and killed horrifically and incomprehensibly 14 students and killed a teacher. Abbott said at a press briefing. The death toll was later revised to 18 children. Now apparently it's at 19. It rose up one other person. And that's one other person too many already. There are families that are in mourning right now, and the state of Texas is in mourning with them. It is the deadliest such incident since 14 high school students and 3 adult staff were killed in Parkland, Florida in 2018. And the worst at an elementary school since the 2012 Sandy Hook shooting in Connecticut, in which 20 children and 6 staff were killed. The idea that an 18-year-old can walk into a gun store and buy 2 assault weapons is just wrong, said Joe Biden addressing the country from the White House on Tuesday night. As a nation, we have to ask, when in God's name will we stand up to the gun lobby? He added, why are we willing to live in this carnage? Why do we keep on letting this happen? Where in God's name is our backbone? And you know what? Not sitting here saying anything about Biden, but I do agree with that at some point, to some extent. When are we going to say enough is enough? When are we going to sit here and say, hey, maybe we need to put stricter laws on guns, stricter laws on gun, so that we have better gun control, so that we don't have these kinds of things happening. This is a kid, all right? This is a 18-year-old kid. This kid right here, another photo of Salvador right here, 18-year-old kid, had some crazy ideas and decided, hey, I'm just going to walk into this gun store. I'm going to buy a gun and I'm going to do whatever the hell I want with it. First, I'm going to try it out on my grandma, and then I'm going to go run around and do all this crazy ish because I can. Because it's my Second Amendment right, so on and so on and so forth. And don't get me wrong, I'm not sitting here saying you shouldn't have the right to bear arms. Not sitting there saying that at all. But at some point, we have to take care and protect our children. And when are we going to do that? When, I ask you? We have not even 18 now, 19 children, 19 innocent lives. Future doctors, politicians, lawyers, mothers and fathers that are no longer here. Because of this man and his decision to go buy a whole bunch of artillery and get a little crazy. So I ask you, we sit here all day long talking about how we can, like, you know, we're focused on this Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial and all that. And don't get me wrong, it's a nice vacation from this kind of stuff, this kind of news. But we can't deny that this happens every week. There was a mass shooting that happened about a week ago in Buffalo. Then there was two other ones that happened within the same day, if I'm correct. Within the same day. All because somebody had access to a gun and decided to use it on innocent lives. That's it. I just wonder, in what ways can we try to make things better? I know we don't have the answer. Not all of us have the answer, but at least if we got down to talk about it, got down the brass tacks to find out what's really going on in the world, that maybe we could save a few more lives. Because this is devastating. Absolutely devastating. I got a few video clips I want to show you guys. And I get it. You know, we all have our thoughts on gun control and what we should do and what we shouldn't do. I get all that. But we at least have to have that conversation. We can't be turning a blind eye to all this and just going back to the fluff. We gotta ask and talk about these hard topics. We have to. It might save a life, man. It just might save a life. I got a little bit here I want to show you guys here too. So I appreciate you riding with me. You know, I really do appreciate it. I know this is not something that everybody wants to talk about or hear about, but I felt like we needed to talk about it today. So I appreciate you guys being so loving and so understanding. Let's take a listen to some of this here.
And drug smuggling pursuits out here. So they didn't really think anything of it. And the truck crashed nearby the school. And so they watched people from the funeral home run out and kind of run to the aid and see if everybody was okay. That's when they said the shots really started firing. They watched that shooter run towards the school and jump over the fence and actually gain access to that school. Now, they said it didn't look like he necessarily had an agenda to get to that school, more like he crashed nearby and went over there and had the gun with him. And of course, the grandmother's house is just about a mile away from where the school is. And so they were telling me that one of them actually went to school with him. And he was saying, 2 years ago when he was in school with him, that they were in PE together. He said that he never suspected anything. He said that the shooter didn't display any kind of behavior that they were. Hold on.
I hate to pause this really quick, but I just saw A-Lady 747. I haven't seen this name in here in a long time. But hey, pray for my family. One of them babies that was taken, oh my God, in Texas with my sister's cousin. Oh my Lord. I'm freaking out. I am listen, hey lady, uh I'm praying for you. I'm praying for your family. This is devastating news. This is devastating news for the whole world. This should be devastating news for the whole world. I'm praying for you and I'm with you. I can only imagine what your family's going through, but we are with you. I just want to let you know that.
Would have anticipated that he would have ended up shooting and killing 18 kids. There's nothing that he ever thought would have happened. He used the word sketchy. There was nothing sketchy about him. Now, I just left from one of my sources' homes, actually, who had a child in that school. Thankfully, those children are home with them safely. The third grade boy was able to tell me what he witnessed. He saw the shooter. He saw him fire shots, and he goes, oh my gosh, I know this man is not worried about hurting people. And I asked him if he has to go back to school, and he says he did not want to go back to school. He said he didn't know if he was going to survive, and he said they were at recess when this happened. I asked if he knew what they were supposed to do, and he said no. They just basically all ran back inside, and he said that, you know, he heard all the shots being fired. And so right now he's saying he's traumatized and he doesn't want to go back to school, and he's a third grader. So this is what we're dealing with right now in this really small community. And I mean, really, this response, how quick it was, it's because of the crisis that's going on right here that I've been down here covering, which is why I was so close. It's because we've been covering the influx of illegal immigration here along the southern border. That is why so many agents were deployed out here. That is why so many people were here to respond to this crisis, and so quickly at that.
Ali, you said something there that struck me because I hadn't heard it yet, that the students were at recess. So to your knowledge, based on what authorities have told you and witnesses, did this shooting happen outside or inside of the school building?
You know, I don't have that confirmed, so I'm not really comfortable going with that, but I can tell you the first dispatch call was around 11:40 this morning.
Ali, the community, there's a lot of resources that are going to be pouring in for folks in that community to try to deal with this and comprehend it. The school has been canceled for the rest of the year. What is the latest and the status of the Family Reunification Center and how information is being fed to families right now?
You know, right now, I know there are still some families looking to find their children. I mean, I was just down the street at the scene where, I mean, even closer than this, and there was a woman there looking for her niece and nephew. She had called San Antonio to see if they were airlifted there. She had called to find out if they were at the hospital here, and they still didn't know where they were less than an hour ago. And that is the latest update on that, what I have on family reunification there.
Talking to investigators, it sounds like it will take quite some time to process this scene. What are you hearing from authorities who are at the school tonight on the delicate and meticulous process of trying to pull together all of the pieces of what has happened?
I mean, you just heard the former chief there talk about their children involved here, right? So this is extremely sensitive. And you've got third graders saying that they didn't know if they were going to survive this. So it is going to be a long process, and there are a lot of agencies involved. And so, you know, I don't believe we'll hear a lot of details anytime soon, but, you know, I can tell you, and I don't know if this has been widely reported with you or not, but I have, of course, several very credible sources here, again, who have children in these schools. And they're telling me that when they came here to search the perimeter, they actually found loaded magazines for AR-style rifles out there near the school. And so they're going to be piecing a lot of these things together that, yeah, haven't really been released yet, Marnie.
Ali, tell us more about Uvalde, the community. It's a small, close-knit town. It's seemingly small enough that everybody sort of knows everybody else. You've been there a while. You've been in these communities. Tell us more about the people there.
I mean, I've spent a lot of time in this community, and not ever for something like this. And this is a small community, and they do rally together, and they are all extremely concerned. And I went out to talk to the mom of that child I spoke with, not to hear her child's story. He wanted to tell me. I just went there to hug her because I just can't imagine what a small community like this is dealing with right now and reeling with at this moment. But all of these families that have been near the scene that I was speaking with, they were like, no way would this ever happen here. You know, we never would expect that. And you hear that often in these really small, tight-knit communities.
And that's very true. A lot of times we hear a lot of these tight-knit groups, these families, they'll sit there and go like it's full on denial. There's no way that this could have happened. There's no way that this could have happened in their town. We hear that a lot. We hear that a lot, especially with people who are abducted, people who disappear, people who get kidnapped, so on and so forth, even murdered. We hear about these things all the time in these small towns, right? I just did a story a while back about a woman in, Queens, New York, if I'm correct, in a nice upper middle class environment, all that, only to find out, she was killed by a lover. But you sit there and you hear the same story. Everybody goes, wow, I don't know. I never thought that this would ever happen in my neighborhood, or this would have happened to somebody in that's my neighbor. It's terrifying. But what's crazy is we live in a time now where crime or danger, back in the day, you had to go and find danger, y'all. Now danger just finds you. It's just right there. It's almost as normal. These mass shootings, for example, are becoming part of the norm. Like, it's about to start raining this week type thing. Oh, it's going to rain this week. Okay. We're becoming so desensitized by these things. I mean, it's strange because we're desensitized, but then we're not at the same damn time. And I feel like the more we become numb to these moments, numb to these terrible acts, I feel like the more it just becomes a normal thing. And I know some people might not agree with me on that, and that's fine. But that's where I stand on this. There's got to be a means to an end on this. How we do that, I don't know. I don't have the solutions. But I do feel like we do need to have a conversation. We need to talk about these things. We don't really talk much about these things. We avoid it. We go, oh gosh, that's so terrible. And then we move on back to our regularly scheduled program. And then another one happens, and then another. And it just keeps happening and happening and happening to the point where then the death toll reaches your front door. And it may not be your child, God forbid, but it may be a friend of a friend, or A Lady 747 just said, it's a relative. It may not be direct, but it gets close enough. These conversations need to be had, y'all. These conversations need to be had. I got a little thing from Governor Greg Abbott, him just giving us a little bit of a breakdown of what's going on and what had transpired. I just wanted to share with you guys. Here we go.
Local law enforcement, as well as the Texas Department of Public Safety. They obviously now know who the shooter was, and the shooter is no longer alive. Let me give you some details, and then I'll give you a summation about that. The shooter was Salvador Romas, an 18-year-old male who resided in Uvalde. It's believed that he abandoned his vehicle and entered into the Robb Elementary School in Uvalde with a handgun, and he may have also had a rifle, but that is not yet confirmed according to my most recent report. He shot and killed horrifically, incomprehensibly, 14 students and killed a teacher. Mr. Romas, the shooter, he himself is deceased and is believed that responding officers killed him. It appears that 2 responding officers were struck by rounds but have no serious injuries. The Uvalde Consolidated Independent School District Police Department is the investigating agency, and we will provide them and the city of Uvalde substantial investigative and patrol assistance. We're in the process of obtaining detailed background information on the subject, his motive, the types of weapons used, the legal authority to possess them, and conduct a comprehensive crime scene investigation and reconstruction, and identify and interview all witnesses and provide victim services and other support as needed. Victor Escalon is the Texas Department of Public Safety South Texas Regional Director. He is on the scene, and everything that can be done will be done. In addition to that, it is being reported that the subject shot his grandmother right before he went into the school. And I have no further information about the connection between those two shootings. And the subject is reported to be a student, to have been a student at Uvalde High School, and is a U.S. citizen.
So this is what we know so far. And of course, we know what this young man looks like, what the shooter looks like. He did what he did. He obviously is no longer on this planet. But here's the thing, though. There's a couple things. Well, one, I wanted to read Holly Squires on Facebook. Thank you so much, sweetheart, for the comment. It's hard not to be numb because so much crying. It's so very hard. Watching the parents on the floor in the news coverage hysterically crying is just too much for me. I cry and then have to numb it out, I guess, so I can hear their stories and such. Now, and I appreciate you taking the time to have a visceral reaction to this, and I know a lot of us, the nation, the world, when we hear about these terrible stories like this, it happens a lot on American soil, more than we hear it overseas, actually. But the more we hear about these stories, yes, I mean, the world weeps with us. The world feels for the victims of these heinous and horrific crimes that are committed, especially against our children, our high school all the way down to elementary. I mean, it's devastating to hear that these kids were within the ages of not even teens yet, not even 12 yet. Okay, let's just say that. I mean, imagine that. But there are some things that have to be brought in to think about here really quick. Now, hopefully, as Governor Greg Abbott, the governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, said, hopefully he's telling the truth, okay? But hopefully they're doing their due diligence and they're doing their research. They're doing their background research on this young man. Does he have a history of mental health issues? Was there any warning signs? Was he doing anything that was giving off any type of vibes that could be a foreshadowing of what transpired this morning at the Robb Elementary School? But these are the things. I know that we can't predict the future. I know that we can't predict that someone like Salvador Ramos is going to go out there and do something, okay? Do something as heinous as this. But we can at least see if there were some warning signs. Like the situation that happened in okay. Sorry. Casey girl 10. You said it was my sister's baby cousin. A lady was just getting your attention for me. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. Thank you for that correction. Casey girl 10, my heart and prayers go out to you and your family. I am so sorry. I am so very, very sorry. And I can only imagine what your family is going through right now and what you're, this is just terrible. This is terrible, terrible news. But what I was saying here real quick is that this is the time where we go and we go back and we look at this to see if there's any warning signs that happened before this went down. How was he acting? You know, was he at a community college? Was he a senior in high school? Where was he matriculating at this time? Where was he working at if he had a job? How was he before all this went down? Is this drug related? Is this just a mental break? Or is this a kid who just really wanted to do some really bad things? Also, the next question, how did he get his hands on weapons? Did he walk into a gun store and buy them himself? Where did he get the body armor? How did he order the body armor? Where did he get it? Online? Or did he actually borrow from a friend? Where did he get that stuff? Full on body armor, guys. Body armor. He was ready to do something without a shadow of a doubt. So it makes you wonder, where were the warning signs? And if there's a way that we can find those things beforehand, maybe something like this, like the Robb Elementary School shooting, doesn't happen again. Then I covered a story, I'm forgetting the man's name, Crumble. Ethan Crumble. I'm going to say it. Ethan Crumble had full on heads up to the school, the staff, the guidance counselor, etc., etc., etc. And what did the school do? Not a damn thing. Parents had fair warning. And what did the parents do? Not a damn thing. And now they are looking at time behind bars as well. So it makes you wonder what Crumbly, okay? Ethan Crumbly, not Crumble. Ethan Crumbly, okay? That kid went out and did some very, very bad things, and there was full on foreshadowing, full on a heads up of what he was about to do. And what did the people around him that saw all the warning signs do? I'm going to repeat it again. Not a damn thing. So when it comes to this situation, it makes me wonder what happened. Did people just sit back and not do a damn thing again here? Or was this just something that came out of nowhere? And that could very well be what happened here. Not every single time is there a full-on heads up like, hey, I'm about to do this. I get that. I fully get that. But maybe there's something. Maybe there's a heads up that could prevent this from happening at another school, and that we have 20 to 21 people no longer here anymore. Again, I will repeat, future citizens of the world, future mothers and fathers, future movers and shakers, future dreamers of our future are no longer here now because of this man right here. And the question is there anything that we could have done? Anything to prevent this heinous act from happening? And if there is, then we make it right the next time, so we don't have these kinds of heinous acts ever happen again. Anyway, guys, let me just say this really quick. My heart, my prayers, my tears, my anger, my frustration, my rage, my disappointment stands with every single last mother and father and family member that lost someone very special at Robb Elementary School. We need to figure out how to stop this from happening, y'all. We really, really, really do. And I know it's not just one answer and then poof, it's solved. But we at least have to make the steps towards something so we don't have this happen anymore. Anyway, guys, I appreciate all y'all I really do appreciate all y'all for coming in, tuning in at such a late time. I got to be in bed so I could be back up bright and early to watch this Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial with you guys tomorrow morning. Tomorrow is going to be fire as hell. So I will be on tomorrow morning to watch it with you guys. I really appreciate you guys listening to me and having this conversation with me. I know it's a little bit different from the last many lives I've done recently, but we need to talk about this. And maybe it's something that we can start spreading the word. Because these mass shootings, this is getting ridiculous, y'all. It really is. Anyway, guys, do me a favor. If you felt anything that I said tonight, please do me a favor. Hit that like button down below. All right. Hit that like button down below. And don't forget, please, if it's your first time checking out this show, hit that subscribe button. You know I'm working hard out here, guys. It's 11:15 at night in my neck of the woods. I know a lot of y'all who are watching overseas, it's like in the afternoon or something for y'all. But anyway, I appreciate you guys tuning in and listening to me babble. All right. You guys are incredible. But hit that subscribe button down below, and I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another, and I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. This is the Pascal Show. Bye.